Okay. Those watching live, we are just going to continue. Mia, is everything all right? Yeah, everything's great. I wanted to give you something. Really? Is there some of your stew left? No, that was gone in a flash. You've been such a tremendous help to me, and I'm so grateful. You're always so helpful. It's amazing, really. What do you mean? What I'm saying is that I couldn't have done this without you. Which is why I want you to have my winner's trophy. Really? But you're the one who won it. Yeah, but it was as much your victory as it was mine, really. Besides, I wouldn't even know where to put it in my apartment. Thank you, Mia. I feel very honored. But how about we share it? It can be one of those trophies that moves from place to place. I'll take it and invite you to dinner sometime, so I can show you my finest cooking skills. Then you can take it home with you, and we can cook again at your place. We can take turns with the trophy and the cooking. Okay, yes. Let's take turns. Happy Hibernation Festival, Finley. You too. Celebrate. You deserve it. But now I need to get going. See you in the morning. Good night. Just floats down. Gotta get to work, and we've got to give Irma her candle. It's snowing. It's snowing. Hey, Porcupine. All of you. Happy Hibernation Festival. Hmm. Good night, Mr. Bus Stop. Well, at least the bus has a good reason not to come today. If you're partying and drinking, it's best not to do any driving at all. That goes for buses as well as cars. How many hibernation festivals do you think you've celebrated? 168. What? Really? But the hospital isn't that old. You're right. You're right there. But I haven't always been here. I didn't even know that. They brought me out here a long time ago. I may not look it, but I haven't missed a single hibernation festival. Impressive. Were you there today too? Not in the way you might think. You know, Ninoslav, the guy on the town fountain. I don't like him very much. We had a falling out a few decades ago. Oh. I'm sorry, what happened? Well, I don't want to trouble you with my woes. But that arrogant upstart is so full of himself. He always has to be at the center of the celebrations. Ooh, look at me. My hot water supplies the stew contest. The stews keep everyone warm, and they only taste so good only because of me. Then he gets all those lavish decorations every year, too. It's not fair. Are you jealous? Me? Jealous of that slime ball and his stupendous decorations? Never. Sorry, I digress. Don't stop on my account. Shall I give you a tip for next year? Sure. Thank you. Get yourself a hood. It'll keep the first snow off your head. And no one will know it's you who's partying the whole night away. Curse that Ninoslav and his magnificent decorations. First ever hibernation festival brought the people of Porcupine together. They celebrated and feasted, but when it was all done, there was still a pile of candy left over. Together, they decided to store the leftover candy in a cabinet. And on that day, my dear vending machine, you were born. Yes, I'm sure that's how the story goes. Not in the mood for the hibernation festival? Oh, sure I am. But someone has to keep this place running. I'll be down in a minute, though. Then we'll get the real party started. All that nonsense beforehand with the stews and everything, I can't stand it anyway. Boring. I heard you can win a bottle of caraway liqueur at the wine stand. I've got to get my hands on that. I've heard it's delicious. And there's only one bottle of it. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Why, did someone claim the bottle already? Well, Roman Hydrick has the bottle. That greaseball! How dare he! The world just isn't a fair place. He won't even appreciate a drink of that quality when I get my hands on him. Now, off to your shift. Dr. Krakowski's waiting. You're on the night shift together tonight. That we are. Good evening, Finley. Happy Hibernation Festival, Dr. Krakowski. Yes. Hope you had a good time. Yes, it's just the two of us today. Holidays are all well and good, but someone has to keep the lights on here. That's true. So how are things looking? As they should. People actually always feel a little better on days like this. Some are homesick, others are just happy to have some peace and quiet. Still, from a psychological point of view, Hibernation Festival actually seems to help them. I'll take care of our dear Irma today. Please handle your duties. You'll find me in the break room when you're done. Alright, see you soon. I still can't believe I won. I'm still shaking. That was amazing. Thanks, Finley. Isn't Irma in 303? Good evening, Miss Van Galen. It is important not to get rattled. After every inhalation comes an exhalation. Everything that is closed will one day be opened up again, and vice versa. May I interrupt for a moment? Oh. Hello, Finley. I didn't hear you come in. We were just lost in conversation. I bumped into dear Sandra this evening in the cafeteria. It's one way of putting it. I'd forgotten I was meant to have an important meeting today. Suddenly it got hard to breathe, and I passed out again. Dr. Gotera brought me back up here. I have to admit to a certain amount of luck. Benjamin from surgery happened to be passing through at the time. He was a huge help in getting Sandra up here safely. Thank you, Dr. Gotera. What were you talking about? Oh, this and that. Ourselves, the world. I helped Miss Van Galen breathe until she managed to calm down. Miss Van Galen, I wish you all the best and a natural recovery for both body and mind. I've already taken far too long a break. I wish you both a pleasant evening. Thank you, you too. How are you feeling, Miss Van Galen? Still feel a little out of sorts. Well, your blood pressure must have begun fluctuating. You had an extremely high resting pulse when you first arrived here. The drugs regulate your blood pressure. Dr. Gotera kept talking to me until I felt better. He was saying something about my inner core, breathing exercises, that kind of thing. I tried yoga once, not my cup of tea. And Dr. Gotera has his own way of looking at things, but he wasn't exactly wrong. Excuse me. Let me check your readings. We have to make sure that the drugs are working so you remain stable. Alright. Okay. I'm afraid medication will only go part of the way to solving your problem. It would be wise to develop ways to reduce stress. Fortunately, this happens to a lot of people nowadays. How am I supposed to avoid stress? Well, there are a few options, but you'll need to work out what works best for you. They didn't teach us much about stress avoidance techniques at medical school, to be honest. Things that Dr. Gutierrez said kind of helped. I'm going to take a nap. Maybe I'll get lucky and catch Dr. Gutierrez tomorrow. Rest well. All right. Dr. Gerda Neisdorf? Finally. Bring me back a cup of black tea. Then tell Dr. Theobald that I want to speak to him. I'm actually your attending physician. You're a doctor? St. Ursula, save us. You're barely out of diapers. Do they sell medical degrees online now? Let's not lose sight of the matter at hand, Dr. Neisdorf. You came to us today suffering from severe tremors. On top of that, you've been complaining of recurrent itching and muscle atrophy. Liver cirrhosis. What? Liver cirrhosis. Are you deaf? Have you already been diagnosed? I can't see anything here. I'm a surgeon, child. I've had liver cirrhosis for longer than you've been alive. Accordingly, I am aware of the high mortality rate once surgical intervention becomes necessary. That's why I'm here. So let's cut to the chase and get down to business. Yes, ma'am. Five pills. Let's try this again. Five pills. Cool. Your liver readings are in the critical range. You don't say. To make sure it is cirrhosis of the liver we're dealing with, we need to do a liver biopsy. No. No? I already know it's cirrhosis of the liver. What do you take me for? Although I'm sure your accounting department will be thrilled if you carry out a few unnecessary procedures they can charge me for. Okay, well, what if it's not liver cirrhosis? Do I have to teach you how to treat me right here? Listen. I like a drink, if you know what I mean. Excuse me? I'm talking about chronic alcohol abuse. Your nursing staff insist I don't drink here. So now I have two problems. Alcohol withdrawal and this blasted liver cirrhosis. According to the latest research, your symptoms could also be triggered by other diseases. New research? A load of waffle, that's what that is. Well, go ahead, I'm sure you know exactly what you're doing. Yeah. Just little nuts. Alright, room 304. I'd really love to go to the Hibernation Festival today. I'm sure you would. I'm sorry it didn't work out. It's okay. I've been having my own little Hibernation Festival right here. Just had a coffee with cream and hazelnut. It was the highlight of my day. You have an inflammation of the renal pelvis. Are you in pain? Yeah, but I'm trying not to let it get to me. Alright, but don't make things too uncomfortable for yourself. We can always get you some painkillers if you want. For now, I'm going to give you some medication to help bring the swelling down. Please tell us if the pain gets any worse. Or if you have any problems urinating. I shouldn't really be drinking caffeine this late in the day, but you might find that coffee helps a little. Anyway, I wish you a wonderful Hibernation Festival and a sound night's sleep. Thank you. I'm definitely wide awake right now, I've got to admit. And probably will be. What room is Irma in? Done, Dr. Kukowski. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary? No, everything's fine. You're right, the patients really are doing a little better today. Glad I'm on the night shift now. It's really quite pleasant. If you say so. Let's see. You're really quick today. I like that. I have one more request for you. Of course. What? Irma. I mean, Ms. DeCalma. I've been watching her tonight and she's not doing very well. She asked if the nice doctor would stop by again today. I think she means you. Why don't you go check on her? I'm sure she'll be happy to see you. Yeah, sure, I'd love to. Got a gift I wanted to give her anyway. Well, don't keep her waiting. She's in 303, isn't she? Yeah. Hey, Irma, how are you doing? Finley, what are you doing here? I thought you were out celebrating today. I was. It was great. I met a lot of people and the stew contest was really exciting. They got the fountain working again for the occasion. Look what I found, Irma. Can you smell that, Doctor? The scent is just incredible. You really made my day. Feeling much less shivery today. I'm feeling much less shivery already. This brings back so many images for me. So many memories from years gone by. From all the many hibernation festivals I've seen. It was your first one today, wasn't it? Yeah. But you should get some rest, Irma. All that talking gets to your lungs. Oh, it's all right. I need someone I can spin my yarns to. I'm very tired. But I would like to tell you one last story. Irma? What do you mean by that? It's okay. What? No, it's not okay at all. We'll get you back on your feet, I promise. I'll get Dr. Krakowski right away. We'll figure it out. You've already done more than I can imagine. But may I ask one more favor of you? Of course, what is it? I'd love another cup of tea. My throat's a little dry, you know? Of course, Now, Finley, don't fuss. It's all right. I'll just dash to the break room. We have tea there. I'll bring it right back. She'll be all right. Tea. We always have hot water here, thank goodness. What kind of tea should I make? Okay, I better get this straight to Irma. Finley, taking a break already? No, I'm just getting a cup of tea for a patient. Ah, yes. Old Irma has a taste for the finer things. Could you come with me, please? Irma isn't doing well at all. I know. I already went to see her and checked her readings. She's going to die in the next few hours. But we have to do something. What I'm going to do is make myself a cup of tea too. How can you just walk in here like nothing's wrong? Why aren't you doing anything? I have already done everything I could. Sometimes even the best treatment in the world can't help, Finley. But go to her. Make her last hours as comfortable as possible. That is our duty to her now. Make sure she has enough painkillers. Shouldn't we contact her son? I've already tried that too. Fortunately, I've not yet been able to reach Giuliano. I'll keep trying and inform him of the situation. Go now. Irma's tea is getting cold. Okay. Irma, I'm back. I've got your tea. Irma? Who? Oh, sorry, I must have dozed off for a minute there. You're a darling. Thank you so much. Just set it down there. I remember my first hibernation festival like it was yesterday. It was already very cold for the time of year. The cars and park benches were buried in snow, but the hibernation festival still had to go on, of course. Gilbert loved hot air balloons more than anything else in the world. But he also had a great fear of flying, and he wasn't the youngest anymore either. Neither of us were. We were compromised by heading to the countryside to watch the balloon race. At least, we used to until it was banned. It was the Hibernation Festival. When Gilbert sat in a hot air balloon for the first time. There was already snow in the roads and on the roofs of the houses. The lights, the smells. We were there every year. When it was cold outside and everyone started to come closer together. I'd already bought a hazelnut candle and enjoyed some lovely conversations with plenty of laughter. When Gilbert secretly slipped away. He'd spotted a hot air balloon in the square. Back then, you could still book flights in the winter. They said you could see the whole town from up there. But that year, the balloon remained grounded. The weather was already bitterly cold and very windy. Then all of a sudden, an icy gust of wind blew across the square. Hats and caps flew through the air, mothers had to hold on to their children, and that gust of wind blew my Gilbert right into the basket of the balloon. When he picked himself back up to climb back out again, he got the fright of his life. The balloon had broken loose and was already rising hundreds of feet above the town. And me? I'd seen the whole thing and I leapt desperately at a dangling rope to try and hold the balloon down. But instead I simply floated away with it. Gilbert helped me into the basket and the wind carried us higher and higher into the wintry clouds. Porcupine was no more than a small speck of light in the fog. Eventually it disappeared altogether. Gilbert could barely move due to his fear of heights. The cold bit into our skin, but I managed to cheer him up. His dream had finally come true. I reminded him. Riding in a hot air balloon. Unfortunately, we soon realized that the burner was frozen. But then I remembered the hazelnut candle I'd bought. So Gilbert and I made ourselves comfortable in the basket of the balloon and lit the candle to keep warm. I don't know how long we sat there, but it was indescribably beautiful. Just us, the sky, and the clouds, and the scent of the hazelnut candle. Suddenly there was a bang. The burner had started up again. The heat from the hazelnut candle had thawed it out. Gilbert quickly figured out how to steer the balloon. Even the altitude didn't bother him anymore. But how But how would we know which way to go? Then, before we could even begin to worry again, I heard it. Very softly. The hibernation hymn. The song everyone in Porcupine sings together for the hibernation festival. We strained our ears and Gilbert steered the balloon straight toward the song. Eventually Porcupine emerged from the fog. The beautifully decorated marketplace, the snow-covered roofs, and the festival goers. What a sight. They had broken into song to help us find our way back. Gilbert landed right in front of the fountain and all the crowd cheered. And that's the story, more or less, of how my Gilbert and I took flight together for the first and last time. He died the following year. I'll be reunited with him soon, and we'll fly together again. My Gilbert and I. Are they still playing the hibernation hymn in the square? Maybe. I'm not quite sure. I think I can hear it. Just faintly. Yes, they're probably still celebrating. And here's the two of us stuck working the night shift at the hospital, eh? Oh, you're doing a good job with the work. But Irma? I made it. To the hibernation. Yeah, me too, Finley. Well, that was Act 2. And I think that's a good place to wrap up for tonight. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.